Good morning, everyone. Thank you, thank you. All right, if you can all make it to your seats, we're just about ready to get started. Good morning. My name is Neil Collins, and I'm honored to be your CEO. Thank you all for joining us here today. I want to introduce our 2016 president, Ms. Tricia Motter. Come on up, Trish.
Thank you, Neil. I'm very excited today because we have someone that very excited to have Sam here. If you were at the installation, we were honored to have him there at the event. But definitely, we want to say thank you so much for being here. First off, here at the general membership meeting today, we're looking forward to a fantastic 2016 with all of you. And I'd like to have us led in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to bring up Larry Tringali, who is our first-time award winner of the Lifetime Achievement Award as an affiliate. And he's definitely, Larry, if you could come on up here, we'd love to have you with us.
Okay, so the Pledge of Allegiance, we'll all stand up, that's pretty good. It's not that we all take it for granted, or it's just something that's gotten sort of mundane for us, but we need to reflect on where we live. You know, I do a lot of stock market stuff, and you live in the United States, wow, that's great. You live in Silicon Valley, I can't believe how lucky you guys are. Here we are real estate in Silicon Valley in the 2000s. That's like you're in heaven hoping to be born. Please, God, send me there, send me there, send me there. We are all the winners. We are here. And we get to have a dignitary. Sam's here. You know, what a great leader we've got. Things are looking up for us. So today, when we pledge allegiance to the flag, let's appreciate this is where we are and say it with a little bit of heart. Okay? Okay. Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you so much, Larry. That was great. So a little introduction about our San Jose Mayor, Sam Liccardo. I know many of you know him and have a little bit of history on him. But a few things about him is that he took office in January 2015 at the age of 44, which is one of the youngest mayors that we've ever had in modern history for San Jose, which is in itself is an accomplishment. And during his brief tenure, he has helped make San Jose thrive in his presence. Sam has forged a historic pension reform agreement that will save $3 billion over the next 3 decades, launched innovative programs to reduce homelessness, expanded education and job opportunities for thousands of low-income youth, announced new international flights to the Mineta San Jose International Airport, and helped usher in major expansion of tech companies, including Apple and Google. Prior to being elected mayor, Sam served on 2 terms for the city council, where he led efforts to revitalize downtown, preserve San Jose's hillsides and open space, boost funding for affordable housing, and open a world-class soccer stadium for the San Jose Earthquakes. I would say that's a lot of accomplishments in such a short period of time, which is pretty amazing. And a little bit about Sam's background. He began as in public service as a Santa Clara County District Attorney and is a proud graduate of San Jose's Bellarmine College Prep, Georgetown University, Harvard Law School, and John F. Kennedy School of Government. So overachiever to the max, which we are very proud to have as our mayor. So if we can, please bring Sam up to the front and give us a little presentation. And we'll have open for questions at the end.
Thank you, Tricia. Thank you, Tricia. It was a very kind introduction, just the way I wrote it. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So I'm honored to be here. My name's Sam. I work for you. And, you know, in spite of all the nice things that Tricia said about what we've been working on for the last year or so, you really understand your value when you go home and talk to your family at night. So a couple nights ago, my wife told me that she had talked to her niece and her cousin, both of whom are about 6 or 7 years old. And her niece, Mireya, was talking to her cousin, Mila, and one asked the other, what does Sam do for a job?
as they were watching something on television. And Mireya said, well, he doesn't really work for a living. He just talks on TV a lot and then goes home. So suffice to say that whatever you think you're accomplishing in life, you're never fully appreciated by your own family. I first just want to say thank you. Thank you first to the many friends here in the audience. I think many I know are very responsible for helping to get me into this position where I can serve. So I very much appreciate that support. And more importantly, thank you for what you routinely do in the community. I had known a bit about the philanthropy of this organization before I attended that celebration, a couple weeks ago. But then hearing all the other organizations that I didn't know about that you had been supporting in the community, it really demonstrates what a heart realtors have here in this county and how instrumental you have been for so many years in moving our valley forward. So thank you for the work you do. I wanted to talk briefly about where we are. I wanted to really focus most of my attention on where we're going. And then I'd like to stop talking and hear your concerns and answer a few questions. So first, let's start about where we are. The good news is, as you probably saw in the paper this morning, joint venture Silicon Valley came out with their report, said we're hitting it out of the park. Everything's been great in 2015, but there are clouds on the horizon, as we all know. And 2015 was a great year, I think, for San Jose. We had the highest job growth of any major metro area in the country. And certainly, while the metro area to our north and west has long been very successful, it took some time for San Jose to catch up, but we really did, I think, in this last year. 4 million square feet. Apple took North San Jose. Google, Splunk taking 1,000 jobs into West San Jose. We are seeing a real explosion of tech in the downtown core, where we have long awaited, I think, real vitality that we're starting to see now. Over 120 tech companies now in our small little downtown. Little known fact, but it is becoming a really significant hub. And particularly in North San Jose, where we've had a lot of big announcements. Silver Spring Networks moved their headquarters in. Broadcom consolidated their headquarters there. Samsung opened its America's headquarters up the street. I could go on and on. We've had a pretty good year. Certainly at the airport, as well as Tricia referred to, important opportunities as we build international flights. We've secured 4 in the last 11 months. I'm hopeful we'll be able to get 1 or 2 more this year before the steam runs out of the airline industry. We know that economic cycles can be pretty impactful in that industry in particular, because they have narrow margins. So I'm hoping we're going to be able to make 1 or 2 more announcements there. For the most part, we're really keyed though on domestic service and trying to get more long-haul flights to the East Coast. So we have more work to do there, clearly. I think we all would like to see more flights from New York, Boston, Atlanta, and elsewhere. So as we work on all these endeavors in the short term, we know that the view has to be for the long haul, because the business cycles are going to dictate what happens in this city as they do in every city in the country. And these are forces certainly more powerful than City Hall. And so as I think to the future, there are really a few key elements that I'm focused on in terms of the strategy we deploy at City Hall, and that is planning, saving, investing, and innovating. So let's start with planning. Particularly as it impacts your industry, there's a lot of important planning going on right now. The General Plan 2040 is undergoing a revision. We have a plan, I think, that depending on your perspective is either cheered or derided as being a jobs-focused plan. There's no question that we need more housing in the city. I expect that what we're going to see through the emergence of the next 2 to 3 months and then on to the city council is first a general plan that is going to look to unleash a bit of the capacity and opportunity we have in our urban villages, where developers have frankly had a very difficult time getting anything built because of the very high jobs requirements that are imposed on new development in urban villages. So what I expect we're going to do is reduce what we call the FAR requirements in some of those urban villages to enable more mixed use development to get built. It's still going to need to be mixed use. It's going to need to be housing with retail, housing with office, housing with R&D. But by reducing some of the hurdles, we think we can get more of these urban villages underway. and that means more housing. Secondly, we're undergoing right now a revision of our EIR in the downtown, pushed through the council a few months ago, a lifting of the cap on height. That's going to enable us to add, I hope, another 4,000 units in downtown capacity. That will be hopefully some more condos to sell. As many of you know, we've had a lot of interest from high-rise developers. 2 more towers are under construction now. Mark Torsini's got going just north of San Pedro Square. We hope we have a little more runway in this economic cycle. We can get a few more towers out of the ground, perhaps 2 or 3 if all goes well. But as we all know, prevailing winds can be powerful, and we'll see what happens between China and Washington, D.C. and everywhere else to see if those towers can get built. But so far, we're hearing all the right things from the developers. They have the financing, at least today. A lot of that financing, by the way, is coming from offshore money. That is a significant driver of these major high-risk investments that we're seeing. And I spend a fair amount of time talking to individuals, foreign nationals who are interested in moving money here. We want to ensure that their money comes here and not to other cities. And we think that it's a great opportunity. So we're going to keep pushing on that. And finally, North San Jose. We have hit the cap of the 8,000 units in the first phase, North San Jose. However, I expect one of 2 things are going to happen in the next 12 months. Either we're going to get the industrial and R&D and office capacity filled so we can move on to the next phase and start building housing again, or you're probably going to see some rejiggering of the phases to enable us to get some housing moving if we have some room left in this cycle. So in the next 12 months, you're going to hear a lot of conversation about North San Jose, particularly around how we might motivate mixed-use development along the transit corridors that can sustain the considerable transit investments we've made. So that's a bit about the planning. Let me move on to saving and investing. First on saving, Tricia mentioned that we've been working pretty hard to try to get the savings locked in through pension reform, through negotiation. We've been through a lot of battles. We've been to court. You all know what it's like going to court. We prefer not to be in court. No matter how much you might think you win, you lose. And we lost a few battles in court, and we won a few battles in court. And the end result is we still have to deal with a real challenge, both in terms of hiring and retaining cops and other key employees, as well as getting the pension savings we need locked in. So with the settlement we have, our actuaries are telling us we can lock in $3 billion in savings, both on the pension side and the retiree healthcare side. That's going to be very important for us. I think what's particularly noteworthy about this settlement is we are essentially shutting down the retiree healthcare plan as a defined benefit plan. And I think we'd be one of the first, if not the first major city in the country to do so, recognizing that it's not sustainable. Ultimately, our employees concluded that not only was it too expensive for our taxpayers, but it was also too expensive for our employees. And fair to say, everyone came to the table when they saw the numbers. So I think this is a hopeful sign for us. We've got more work to do. We got to go to a judge in the next month or 2 to get this thing resolved. We're still working out all the details and dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And then we need to go to the voters in November and lock in savings with commitments the voters would place into our charter that would say essentially we're not going to be increasing benefits without approval from the voters. And that's important, I think, as we look to the long haul. Also, in terms of savings, you're going to hear me talking in the next 2 to 3 weeks about our budget. Actually, I take that back. It'll be 5 weeks when we release our budget message. We're looking to the future, recognizing that the cycle may well have ended. We don't know, but there's a lot of uncertainty, and this is not the time for us to be spending money. So we're going to be putting a lot of money aside, essentially to cover any deficit we might face next year as a result of the cycle. And if it looks like we're going to make it through the next 6 to 8 months without hitting a major road bump, then we'll use that money on basic infrastructure maintenance, basically roads, to be able to maintain what we have, which needs a lot of love. I think we all know as we drive down the roads today, we have taken to recharacterizing those potholes that you see throughout the city as traffic calming devices. So, we've got a lot of work to do on our road. So that brings me to my next point, which is, as we look at the long haul, we have to think about investing. And investing is a nice word that politicians like me use to tell you I'm going to spend your money. So there are a couple of significant investments coming up down the road. One, we are as a region, I hope, going to be getting on the ballot in November with a measure that would increase sales tax to pay for BART and to get BART completed all the way through San Jose onto Santa Clara with a connection to the airport, and to pay for the many other basic transportation needs we have on our expressways, freeway interchanges. You all have been through the traffic, you know it's bad. Basic road maintenance, and some of the modernization we're doing now with our bus rapid transit bus lines. All of that is coming your way, I hope, in November. We'll be going to the BTA board in August. I'm on the BTA board along with 4 of my council colleagues. I think San Jose is pretty strongly aligned with our priorities. BART is really critical for us. For those of you who don't know, BART will be up and running in San Jose next year in 2017 in Berryessa. Get a load of this, a year ahead of schedule and $70 million under budget. How about the It helps when you're bidding for contracts in 2008. Contractors get a little hungry. So that's all good. The problem is, of course, the money runs out after we get to Berryessa. And I've been spending a lot of time lobbying our friends in Washington. In fact, you probably saw President Obama was in town. He came in town last night, and I couldn't help but take the opportunity to nudge him a little bit about some money, throwing some love our way for BART. And we are hearing very positive things from the feds. They're willing to step up with over a $1.1 billion commitment if we can get the money locally to match. And so that's what we're pushing for. So BART, obviously one critical investment along with the other infrastructure improvements we have. Yes, I'm coming to you with one other tax measure, and that is in June, likely. We're going to the council in a couple of weeks, decide whether we put a 1/4 cent sales tax on to restore basic services. Now, what are basic services? Well, we have a pretty good idea because we poll people and we ask them what do they care about the most. Public safety, number 1, right? Our roads, number 2. Some of the very basic services we know that our residents have been deprived of for many years since the Great Recession. We made a commitment back in 2011 when Mayor Chuck Reed was in office, and I pushed with Chuck for pension reform, and we put a fiscal reform plan together that included pension reform, some other reductions in things like sick leave payouts and elimination of some of those benefits, and a tax measure. Believe it or not, even Mayor Chuck Reed said this, yes. So this was long been in the plan. The idea was we would fix our own house first, and then we'd go to our residents, ask them for help. And we're now in a position where we believe with the settlement and with some of the other reforms that were made under Mayor Reed, we can come forward in honesty and say, now we need to restore the basic services. And I should say, we are going to be very focused. We're going to come out with a spending plan. You'll know exactly where we're going to spend this money. It will be a general tax, however, so I don't want to mislead anyone. Right now, we have fewer than 850 police officers on the beat protecting our city. We have about 1/3 of the ratio of police officers per person of the norm in the United States for a major city. It's typically about 2.3 officers for every 1,000. We are about 0.8. So we've got a lot of work to do, and we know that we finally have the stars aligned to be able to start to hire aggressively, be competitive. We've got a union that's working with us. That helps. And I think we can make real progress, but we're going to need some help. And finally, in terms of investing, an awful lot of my focus over the last year has really been around investments in our most important asset, and that's our children. We have figured out a way with relatively little money, some volunteer help, and some innovative approaches from our library director to boost our library hours from 4.5 days a week to 6 days a week. That's really important. And we're starting to really implement some innovative ideas in how we use libraries to help adults attain job skills, for example, English as a second language, accounting, coding, all through innovative software programs that they can get for free online at their library. That's just one example. We've got a coding camp we launched at Hillview Library just a few weeks ago. 200 kids showed up. Our libraries are looking very different than they were a couple decades ago, and this is a great opportunity for us. So we want to leverage that opportunity. We're investing with several foundations and after-school programs, 13 of our poorest neighborhoods, innovative learning programs for K through third grade students. Our commitment is to try to get every third grader up to reading and math standard throughout the city, because we know if they don't get there by third grade, their likelihood of dropping out of high school increases fourfold. So we got to get to them early. And then we're also focusing on our teens. We had some data from the Southern Division, our police patrol, indicating that over half of the burglary arrests that they made in late 2014 are burglaries in Southern Division. When we saw a big spike in burglaries, over half of those arrestees were juveniles. Frankly, we need to get to our kids before the gangs do. And so I've been really laser focused on working on how we can get to kids, A, during the daytime, because we know if they're cutting class, they're getting in trouble. So we're boosting our efforts on truancy and really making sure we get their butts in the seats. And then secondly, in the summertime, we know that's a big trouble spot, particularly for gang activity. And so we launched San Jose Works last summer with a lot of private sector partners. We got over 700 kids living in gang impacted neighborhoods, their first job. And with partnership with Citibank, we got them financial literacy training as well, so that they would know how to spend or not spend that first paycheck. And this year, we want to get 1,000 kids employed, and we'd love to have your help. If you have any interest in helping us employ a team, we're providing them some training. We're making sure they know how to look folks in the eye and shake hands and dress appropriately and show up on time and all those things. And we'd love your help if you'd be willing to provide employment or support for employment. And I'd love to talk to you if you have any interest. So I'm here, by the way, with Ruth Cueto on our team. Ruth is one of the folks spearheading our economic development efforts. I think many of you know Rue Wirakun. Ruth has been working with our team for many years and came into the mayor's office when I did. We're here to serve you, so let us know how we can help support your efforts as we both push for a more successful valley. So with that, I'll stop talking. Larry, you're going to hit me up about this race.
All right, so the mayor does have another engagement. I think we got you for about 8 to 10 minutes
As long as you need me.
on some Q&A. I know we have the room filled here, so please, a couple ground rules. Be short and succinct, limit your follow-up questions so everyone gets a chance to speak. I'll have a mic passing it around. We are recording. And then we also have Hilda Ramirez on the other side of the room as well. So raise your hand when Sam calls me. I'll try to run the mic over there. Thanks.
Thank you. Larry, no roast, great question.
This is about, since I'm a small guy, I'm interested in mini housing. I have a son who's 33.
Yeah.
And my son, 33, doesn't want a big house, doesn't want anything. He's always looking at the 250, 350, 400. Is there anything like that planning for San Jose that you're aware of?
Yes. Right now, I'm 4th and St. James or 4th and St. John. I always get those two streets mixed up. We've got one micro housing, I think, 400 or 500 square foot units is basically workforce housing. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. That one happens to be affordable, rent restricted, subsidized with low-income housing tax credits. But I think we're seeing more interest in market rate micro housing because, let's face it, it's there's no accessible housing otherwise. So we are encouraging those apartment builders who want to build small units to go ahead and do so. We're seeing where the demographics are going throughout our valley. Our households are getting smaller and smaller. Folks are waiting longer and longer to marry or have kids, and we've got a lot of empty nesters. And so all of that means that microhousing is increasingly viable.
When will it be available? How many units?
That's 100 units. It's under construction now. I think they're going to be open probably this summer. But that one's going to be restricted. The market rate stuff that we're really interested in is predominantly in downtown. That will be likely to be that micro housing model.
Yeah, my question is in regards to the homeless.
Yeah.
People who deserve a lot of assistance and training and whatnot. And my proposal to you is, what about a 0.5% increase to employ these people 20 hours a week? Because of that, don't have to get involved with workers' compensation deals and stuff. They get a paycheck. They work 20 hours a week and they keep the roads and streets clean, for Christ's sake. I had a couple of visitors from Germany and 3 from Mexico and 2 from Nicaragua. And they all tell me the same thing. When I came here 10 years ago, it was a beautiful city, clean everywhere. That was the pride of San Jose. Now it's a dump.
Okay.
Nothing personal.
Are you sure you're not related to me? That's the kind of thing my family would say. So first, great idea. In fact, for a year and a half now, we've been working on an initiative called San Jose Gateways in partnership with the Downtown Streets team. And the idea is that we ask corporations that are interested in getting their sign up on a freeway off-ramp, where you get plenty of eyes on the sign, to sponsor a gateway, an entranceway to our city, where we know we see a lot of trash and graffiti and so forth. And we get Downtown Streets team members who are homeless and formerly homeless residents out there. They clean up the trash and the graffiti and they plant flowers. And so far we've identified 17 gateways. And we've got folks hard at work and they get them housed and get them food vouchers and job training in exchange for their work. So it's something we're doing really with private sector money. And now why aren't we spending public sector money on it? Well, the short answer is mostly because your city is broke. And we're trying to do everything we can to spend dollars on the police and rotating other basic services that people expect. Obviously, we're not doing enough. We know that, and that's one reason why we're asking voters for help in June. The reality is, if we were to ask for a tax increase simply to help the homeless, based on the polling I'm seeing, people are not likely to support it. They are likely to support tax increases for other services. So we need to be more creative. And so we're working on a lot of initiatives right now. One of which is a micro-housing proposal that we're hoping to launch in South San Jose using prefab housing, where we're able to break up the units and get about 100 to 150 folks housed that way. We're working on an initiative right now. I think many of you are landlords. I saw Gustavo a minute ago.
I'm right here.
Yes, thank you, Gustavo. We're launching an initiative. You may have heard that we made a commitment a couple years ago or a couple months ago that we're going to get every homeless veteran housed in this ballot. Every veteran homeless. So you can't apply yet because we haven't done it. We got a lot of work to do. We got 700 homeless vets right now, and so one of the several initiatives we're focused on with homeless vets is seeing how the city can help to incentivize landlords to take those vets who have VASH vouchers. Those vouchers may only pay $1,200 or $1,300 a month now. We know that's not market rate yet. But if we incentivize the landlord by giving them some money to help bring their apartments up to code, to help improve maybe ADA compliance, other basic things that they might need, they make a commitment for a certain number of years to take the VASH voucher with the veteran, and we get a veteran housed. So we're working on initiatives like that. We're committing $5 million to that. We'd love to have your participation if you're an apartment owner. And we're working on a lot of other ideas. For example, you've probably seen some hotels that we just purchased, 2 of them that we're converting for homeless housing as well. If you'd like to get involved, please let us know. We'd love to have you involved.
Thank you.
Sam, thank you for setting up the ARO Advisory Council. It's been really fun to sit in your chair once a month.
Don't lie.
And I have enough gray hair, I don't want your job. So here's the ARO report that's come out.
Yes.
It's data based on units with 50 units or more, buildings with 50 units or more. It represents 10% of the affordable housing. It does not accurately reflect our data at all. So what I did, since I'm on the council, is I did an analysis with my fourplex, And the city's asking for so much for us to lose so much money. There's no value in staying in this investment.
Right.
So a lot of us are minority-owned owners when
Right.
we buy ARO because we're willing to deal with that market.
Right.
And we're going to be put out of business. It's going to reduce the supply of housing. So what I did, my background's research. I did a 20-page study. I interviewed, and it's available for you. I'm giving it to every council member as I meet with them.
Good, can I get one today? Thank you very much.
And
Fantastic.
I just have a quick question. Who in here owns any kind of rental property that's in the ARO? Stand up, please. That's less than 50 units. Just stand up.
That's a
One.
good start.
What's the error?
That's
Oh, I'm
it.
sorry, ARO is the rent control.
Rent
So
controlled
if the unit
units.
was built before 1979, and it's at least 3 units, right?
Yes.
But less than 50.
No, 3 units or more.
Right, but okay. I'm
But yeah,
sorry.
but less than 50,
Right.
yes. You're the only
Right.
one.
So, okay, we got.
Stand up, stand up.
So at least three units in the complex.
If you own rental property, stand up.
Okay, there we go, guys. Yeah, duplexes are not covered by our ARO. Yeah.
So if you're concerned about things like having just cause eviction,
Right.
speak up.
Yeah, understood. And I've heard loud and clear about concerns about just cause in particular. And suffice to say that we are looking very seriously at an alternative to avoid just cause. I recognize we don't want that kind of. Oh,
I
think we
know
got
the
another group.
alternative.
Okay.
I know the alternative
All right.
because I met with Jackie.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably sell, and I'm going to recommend others sell if those
Okay.
alternatives go through on allowable increase or just cause. It's bad for our city.
Okay,
It's bad for the safety of our city. It's bad for affordable housing.
got it. Understood. Thank you very much. And we'll have a lot of conversation about this in the next 2 months. It's coming to council, I expect in March.
Yeah, no, later. It's later.
Oh,
I'm sorry, but
April.
I know
Sorry,
that
April.
the mayor has been wonderful to share this morning with us, and his people are telling me that he's got another commitment he's got to run to.
Okay.
So,
And we can get one last photo with the mayor for
Yes,
for his
please.
Facebook photo.
Fabulous.
Myron, please, and
You share it with 15,000 of my closest friends.
Carl, and Dave, can I invite you to the podium? We'd like to take a shot with the mayor, please. These are folks that have been very active at both our state and local levels. So we can grab just a quick shot. And ladies and gentlemen, can we get a big round of applause for our mayor this morning? We truly appreciate that. And his team, his wonderful staff that brought him here safely this morning and worked so hard to schedule him. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Sam.
See ya, Sam.
Thank you so much. All right, so we have next, Dave Walsh. Where is Dave? Right here. There's Dave. So Dave is going to be giving us our NAR and SCCAOR reports. Dave works tirelessly behind the scenes, traveling all over for our NAR meetings, our SCCAOR meetings, to make sure he gets all the reports and information to take back to us. It is a tireless job, and thank you so much for all you do, Dave. So if you can give us a little report on NAR and SCCAOR.
Okay. Any roasters here? Good. Right, you're on. Okay, so I'm gonna give you I'm gonna condense about 12 days of meetings down into about a 15-minute presentation. So hang on, because we're gonna go fairly fast. I'm only gonna talk about the things I think are really relevant to us. There's a lot happening at the national level. There's a lot happening at the state level. There's a lot happening at the local level, quite frankly, too. These are all things that we're working on, but I want to give you an update that's happened since my last update, which is back in November. So first of all, anybody here an independent contractor? If you don't know it, you got a problem. Okay, most of you are independent contractors, I'm assuming, right? So there's a lawsuit that was settled on January 14th. It was the Bersanti versus Caldo Banker, and it has wide-ranging effect on the potential for invalidating independent contractor status for real estate agents. Now, don't panic. This is just one of many national lawsuits going on, but this was actually settled favorably, in theory, for the real estate industry. Okay, what's the wrinkle? The wrinkle is the court, in their evaluation of this particular lawsuit, And because, by the way, because it was settled, it's not a settling case, right? It's just a matter of information in the background. What happened in the battle that isn't in our favor was the court threw out Caldwell Banker's argument for a litmus test of what qualifies a real estate agent to be an independent contractor, right? They threw out Caldwell Banker's argument for that in favor of the 20-point IRS test for what dictates whether you're an independent contractor or an employee. So again, this is just one of the things that we have to pay attention to. Is what we pay a lot. NAR is paying a ton of attention to this. Clearly, all the real estate brokerage communities that operate under independent contractor status, which is the majority of the people nationally, are paying very close attention to this. There's huge legal teams working on this, so it's not time to panic. It's just reality of our industry. There's an Uber case out there. There's several other types of cases that are all about independent contractor status. As those things come to fruition, as they settle, we'll give you advice on them and how we see that. But that's the kind of the independent contractor update at this point in time. Tax reform, my favorite subject. It's one of the committees I serve on is the taxation committee at the NAR level. And excuse me, you're all aware, I'm hopefully aware, that every candidate currently running for president is in favor of tax reform. Right? There's not a single, well, put it this way, you probably couldn't get elected if you weren't at least espousing your concept of tax reform. They believe there's too many loopholes out there, and the way to balance the budget as we move forward is to close those loopholes. And a lot of those loopholes in their mind are real estate related. Now, we don't look at them as loopholes, we look at them as reality for our homeowners, right? These are basic benefits that have been in place since 1913 when they first started the tax codes. And the reality is they're on the table right now. Now, it's not going to happen in this year. This is 2016. It probably won't even happen in 2017. But the dialogue is going to be started. And doesn't matter which president gets in, Congress is going to focus on tax reform. Now, what does that mean to you? Well, the things on the table: 1031 tax deferred exchanges, mortgage interest deductibility, capping that, dropping it from $1 million to 500 to 250, whatever number they happen to come up with. Eliminating or at least reducing the capital gains exclusion from 500 and 250 to half of that, 220, 250, 125, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, whatever it happens to be. Stopping or closing the loophole on being able to deduct your local property taxes. Right? These are all things that are all part of the ridiculous proposals that come before the taxation committee that not from us, but as we have the legislators come in and speak to us, they're proposing. Now, I can go into hours of depth of history of why they do this. The reality is we fight all of it. That's why we're back there. That's why we have lobbyists. We have some of the best lobbyists in our industry, both at the state level and the national level. But guess what? We can't fight that battle without your help. And you know exactly where I'm going with this, right? Political action, right? So here's what I want everybody to do today. I want everybody to take out a business card, and I want you to commit to paying 20 bucks. Now, why 20 bucks? Because the reality is that if we had every realtor in the state of California, all 182,000, writing that check for 20 bucks, we would have possibly enough funds to fight at least a little bit of this battle. And I'm telling you in all candidness, the reality is, and I'm sad to report this, 11% of our membership supports political action. And look around the room, so that would be basically like maybe the front row, if you look at it in the scheme of how realtors support political action. So this is what I call job insurance. I've been in this business 37 years. They've been fighting these battles ever since I got in business. But I've also supported political action for 37 years. I think the message is being diluted now, and we're assuming, it'll never happen. Well, I'm telling you, it's going to happen. If we don't have people at the national and state level fighting this battle, that's why I go back to Washington, D.C. That's why several of us go to Sacramento, because this is our future, and it's coming. So we need to be a little bit more aggressive, I think, personally. And by the way, 20 bucks is just a minimum, right? If you want to write a check for $1,000 bucks, as several of us in this room do on a regular basis, God bless you. Thank you very much. Excuse me, Vince is going to do a little bit more of an appeal at the end, talking about some of the local issues. I'm doing the national and state reports, so I'll let Vince wrap that up at the end. Government-sponsored enterprise reform. That's your Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. What's happening with that? Okay, so unfortunately, or fortunately, the government-sponsored enterprises are very profitable right now. They're making bajillions of dollars. Okay, so it started back in 2008 when us taxpayers took over in conservatorship Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. We bailed out them to the tune of 187, billion. $187 billion. Okay, now we have paid that back and then some. In fact, the latest numbers are we paid back 230.8 billion in profits from the Treasury, 43.4 billion more than they received. So it seemed like the bailout, since the bailout has been paid back, then some. So what's the problem? The problem is Fannie and Freddie hold 90% of our mortgages currently. In some estimations, that's $5 trillion, in which 100% are backed by us, the US taxpayer. That means that in the housing market were to collapse in the future, taxpayers could, in theory, once again have to shell out another $187 billion to keep the GSEs afloat, because the current conservatorship agreement says that all profits from Freddie and Fannie are to go straight to the Treasury, with nothing held in reserve. So think about that for a second. They're making billions of dollars on a quarterly basis, and because of the agreement with the Treasury, all monies that were coming into that are all put back into the Treasury with zero reserves. So that's why we need GSE reform. GSE reform will happen, we think, but then again, Congress likes the cash flow, right? How many programs does our government run where they actually make money, right? So is there a need to reform GSEs? Well, there really is. Will we get around to it? Hopefully in our lifetime. But that's part of the problem. We've left the taxpayers on the hook. We know we need a secondary money market. We know we need Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, or versions of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. We just don't know what they're going to look like. And the problem is currently, Congress has no real impetus to revise them. FHA reform, HR 3700, Housing Opportunity Through Modernization Act. The U.S. House of Representatives passed 427-0 legislation that will expand opportunities of homeownership. Condominiums are among the most affordable homeownership options for first-time homebuyers, as well as lower-income borrowers, but barriers to safe, affordable mortgage credit for condos still exist. HR 3700 takes a number of steps to address those concerns. These include efforts to make FHA's recertification process. That's where the condominium projects have to be recertified every 2 years. They're trying to reduce the requirement from 2 years, maybe make it once every 5 years, and make it much easier in the recertification process. Now, they didn't define what makes it easier. Our government's at work, right? So who knows what the reality will be, but they're at least on the right trend. And the other side of that bill is to reduce the owner occupancy ratio from 50% minimum to 35%. Both will help move things forward within the FHA world. Realtor.com profiles. I'm not going to pull these up because I know we're tight on time, but I want to talk about this. You all have a profile, whether you know it or not, in the cyber world of today. So what happens when someone Googles your name? Oh, by the way, do you think your clients Google your name?
Sure.
You better believe they do. Okay. So what happens when nothing comes up? Or worse, a less than favorable review on Yelp. What's your client see? Well, you can start to combat that, and you can start to change that by claiming your profile on Realtor.com. Now, it's really easy to do, by the way, but I want to tell you the benefits of doing it first. Okay, you all, if you've gone in the past, by the way, if you, like I have, and you went into SCCAOR and you created your profile and you put your cute little picture up there and you wrote your biography and you said the areas of service, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that's all gone. Okay, Realtor.com took over the SCCAOR profiles at the beginning of the year. Okay, and so if you pull your face up today, guess what? It's probably a blank screen with very little information other than your name. All right, so you have to all go back in and do it. There's a reason you want to do this. Realtor.com has put together a national program to increase search engine optimization of your name. In other words, if it was just Dave Walsh, real estate agent, quite frankly, I may not make the first 10 pages of Google, right? But if the client search Dave Walsh Realtor, it's highly likely because of the number of searches done for realtors on a national basis, all pop to the top of the page. And if you know anything about search engine optimization, it's all about getting on that front page, especially when someone's looking for a realtor. And guess what? They're looking for realtors online. That's how they do it now. Okay, so you need to go into SCCAOR or realtor.org. I'll give you a website real quick. It is marketing.realtor.com realtor profile.php. I'll repeat that. marketing.realtor.com /realtor profile PHP. Let me be real honest. You can go into Google and say realtor profile and it'll pop up. I did it this morning. Right? So in case you aren't good with websites, you just want to Google, just Google it, it'll come up. All right? But there's a couple of buttons you're going to push. It's going to say, claim my profile. Look how easy it is. But then you have to kind of put data in, put your picture in, put a cute little background on there, put your areas of expertise, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it gets better from here. Realtor.com now has the ability to take every listing and every sale you've participated in, courtesy of our MLS, and it'll all be auto-populated for the last 2 years. Okay, so every sale, every buyer side that you participated in, assuming your DRE number or BRE number is in the MLS for credit for that sale, will auto-populate on your homepage now, right? Beautiful, pictures, the whole 9 yards, and a map of Santa Clara County showing where all these properties are located. Again, all courtesy of our MLS. So,
Just Santa Clara County or other?
well, it actually shows the entire Bay Area. Okay, so I don't know if they sold something in Bakersfield, it may expand that map to all of California, but the point is they're all there. Okay, all the details, who you represented, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, it gets better. There's one more. Gin two knives with it as well. You actually get to send that out to your clients, and your clients can post reviews on you via that website. Okay, now, if you're brand new and you don't have any business, it still gets better, right? You can, through this website, ask for recommendations from people that aren't clients. So if you're new and you don't really have any business and you can't really brag about a lot of transactions, great, find your 10 best friends and then have them write a review on you on your website, right? Probably should be someone other than your mother, right? But your mother will work if you have nothing else. But the point is that that's how search engine optimization is going to help you. And again, when they run your name, they're not going to turn up the blank screen. Okay, so this is a brand new program. It's just out now, but you all need to go in and do it. So last night, and part of my presentation, I was going to pull up my wife, right, who's also a realtor. And guess what? She had nothing at all. And so when I went in, I actually had to spend the time updating her as well. But and then she watched, what are you doing? I said, I'm making you a realtor, hon. And she goes, why? I said, so you can get lots of business. She goes, okay. And she left the room. So don't be like my wife. Actually do something with it. Use it for your business. Yes. Pardon me? Yeah, go ahead.
The name Carlos Castro, which is me, is 244 times in San Jose alone. And I went and checked the first one, it's a murderer. Okay. The second one, filed bankruptcy in San Diego. But they only in San Jose. There's a bunch, and I went up to about 40 and I stopped at the 40. My name really sucks.
Okay, well, that's a good question, but let me tell you what the most important part you get to training your clients on is Dave Walsh, realtor. right? The realtor part is the only thing you can possibly do. There's tons of Dave Walshes in the world. I don't have the unfortunate connection you have with your name. But when you do put in Dave Walsh Realtor, there's only a couple of us in the nation, right? So my chance of getting my front page is what I'm really looking for. And it's what your clients look for. They're probably going to put in Dave Walsh Realtor San Jose. I mean, but the point is to find you. Okay, and that's what you really want to see. Last couple things. Facebook ads. Okay, so who does just listed, just sold postcards, right? Around your listings you take and et cetera, et cetera. Well, guess what? They don't really work. You've experienced it. You get a modicum of return. I think what statistically you get a 2% return at best with any kind of mail up things to the mail. Well, guess what? SCCAOR, in partnership with Claris something or other, whatever the Claris product is, came up with Facebook ads. Now, how do Facebook ads work? Facebook ads work with a geographic area around your listing. So it's not, you don't have to know the people. You just have to assume that a certain amount of people around your listing have Facebook profiles and are on Facebook. Okay, so you get to actually press a button, put a little bit of detail in, put in a picture of the property, put in a couple sentences, and sign up for a campaign that will market to everybody who has a Facebook account around your listing. Just listed, just sold. You can say, guess how much we sold this property, guess how much this property sold for, contact me at, right? And if you go to the SCCAOR website, go under business tools, SCCAOR website, go under business tools, drop down, and you will see a it's in bright red, so you really can't miss it on that screen. It'll say Facebook ads, and they'll give you all sorts of samples. Yes, there's a cost. I think if I remember my numbers correctly, it's $99 for 3 days. It's $179 for 7 days, and it's like $300 or something, I think, for a 14-day campaign. And they will show you statistically how many leads you generate from having that presentation. And by the way, guess what? You get all the leads. So it's not, I mean, it's a direct connection to you. The last couple things, cybercrime. Who does fraud, a wire fraud scam alert, or some kind of a scam about electronic notifications when you are closing an escrow or signing someone up? Okay, so I see a couple of hands being raised. Okay, there's a huge amount of cybercrime going on right now. If you don't know it, you're about to become a victim of it, or you're more importantly, your clients are about to become a victim of it. SCCAOR has and the SBSA, the Statewide Buyers and Sellers Advisory, has a paragraph about this big. It's clause 47 of a bajillion clauses. And all it basically says is buyers should be aware that cybercrime exists. Nowhere near enough of a disclosure of what's really going on in our industry. Why am I talking to you? Because we had a client lose $1 million. $1 million. Okay, so what happened? The cyber thieves are very sophisticated. They know how to go in and they lie in wait. They just get into your email system. They sit and they watch. And they can sit there forever until all of a sudden they see a transaction information starting to go back and forth between you and the title company, you and the client. And they're just watching everything you do. They ultimately create, they try and figure out when the transaction is closed. They create wire instructions that look just like the title company. They create wire instructions that tell your client where to have the funds wired, etc. It looks like it's coming from the client, it's sent to the title company. That's what happened to us, right? So they took $1 million. It goes into offshore accounts. It's never to be retrieved. In our case, there is a good news, right? We caught it very fast. We caught it within 20 minutes of it happening. Okay, so we did get the $1 million back, kind of. It's a client's money, right? But it's tied up for 90 days in a legal proceeding now, 90 days minimum. So imagine your clients getting ready to close their escrow. Their $1 million is now gone. And they're looking to you and saying, what did you do to me? Okay, so pay attention to that. Talk directly with your title officers. Don't do it over emails. Don't do it over text. Pick up the phone and talk to them. Have conversations. They all know about this, by the way. All the escrow officers in the room, all the people in the title industry, they all know how serious this issue is. Okay, so make sure your clients talk directly to them. Make sure that they're going to be wiring money back and forth. You guys are paying attention. And that's your CR in here.
Thank you so much, Dave. Up next, we have Quincy Virgilio, our chairman of the board for MLS Listings, a past president for SCORE here, and our spokesperson representative for MLS. So if we can have him come up and give us some updates.
What an enthusiastic response. I'm glad I followed. Thank you for setting this up for following Dave and not the mayor. I think that's a hard act to follow. Let's see. Everyone have my wire instructions for the email stuff? Thanks. So I'm here to give you an update about MLS, but more importantly, to talk about a subject that's dear to my heart. It's called data consolidation. First, we have the slides. This is our mission. Everyone knows our mission. We're here to serve you as our subscribers. Thank you very much. This is the clicker. Let me do a little poll first. Who uses the MLS? Okay, just let everybody. Who's a broker or manager of an office? How many of you have offices that are across MLS borders in the East Bay, North Bay? Nobody? Okay, just quite a few. Good. Well, this is the message to you. About 10 years ago, MLS Listings went on a venture with our neighbors to the east, in Bay East, Contra Costa County, and EBRD, to consolidate our data so that you don't have to enter multiple MLSs to get information. You have one single point of entry. We spent about $500 million to consolidate that database and to create a portal where you could enter your listings in one spot and have access across multiple borders for all information for all of your offices. About 9 years ago, that effort failed. And it failed because our neighbors don't want to cooperate the way we'd like to cooperate as an MLS. Now, what did come out of that is that we have all the data in one spot. We have all the data from every MLS around us in one database in our back office. We're not allowed to use it. We don't have permission to use it. So you as a brokerage, when you want to do reports for your offices, where you want to look at information across borders, need to get it from multiple sources. Now, that's just inefficient in this day and age. When your clients, now I'm talking to everybody, have access to every piece of information available in the universe, including the wire instructions for your escrows, you should at least be able to answer questions for them in the same way by going into one single point of entry and getting that data in one spot. We continue to lead the efforts in the Northern California area to consolidate data and have it as a single point of entry in one spot for you to access for every office you own, operate, or manage. But what I need to do is I need to appeal to the broker managers of the offices and people who are working across borders, people who are working in the East Bay and in Santa Clara County, people who are working in San Francisco and in San Mateo County or Santa Clara County. I need you to appeal to you to encourage your information to go to get in one spot, one time, one entry by asking every MLS that you belong to allow data consolidation to work. It's kind of like a grassroots campaign. We're out soliciting brokers to send their data directly to our MLS from every area in Northern California. Not meaning that it's not going to the MLS of their choice, it's going to a database that we can then disseminate to wherever we want and do have access to. We have some really cool broker tools now coming out called the Broker Intelligence, BI. Business Intelligence, BI, Myra?
Yes.
Business Intelligence, BI? Okay, and it's going to be able to take all this data and give you incredible market statistics for your agents, for your competitors, for your neighboring offices, for recruiting purposes, and wherever else you need. But we need all the data to be accessible in one spot. I'm asking you to please voice your opinion in any association besides SCORE that you own. SCORE is supported with this. If you belong to a neighboring MLS, to ask them to release your data to us. So release your data, by the way, not their data, your data, for use like this in one spot. Can I get an okay on that?
Yeah, okay.
Amen. Most of the stuff that we deal with is political, not business. So these reasons why we don't get the data from everybody else has a lot to do with business models that they're involved with and a fear of losing their clients. So anyway, it's 2016, right? We should have had this done 10 years ago. All right, railing on benefits, so we don't need that. So here's one thing that I like here. So here's a great point of what I'm talking about. Right now, your listings are exposed to about 100,000 realtors in the state of California. Does everybody know that? You want to know how they're exposed to 100,000 realtors in California? Are you interested at all? And wouldn't that be something to sit in front of your clients and say, because my MLS participates in a data share agreement with SCCAOR MLS, which is the largest MLS in the nation, has 70,000 subscribers. We have what's called a data share where you put your listing into our MLS, they see it. And in case you haven't noticed, have you gone in and done a search recently for, Birch Street, for example, and you get 99 Birch Streets that are active because 77 of them are in Southern California? That's what I'm talking about. Everyone in their database sees what we have. Everyone in our database sees what they have. And we have a data share that we have 58% of all the listings in California in our database. And so do they. So you can market your property conceivably to any one of those 100,000 realtors that are subscribers between us, CRMLS, two others. I think it's on a slide. Hold on. I can't remember all this stuff. I actually sell real estate. Here it is. SCCAOR and Claw. That's CRMLS is combined. North of, these are access points that we have reciprocal links. A reciprocal link, and if I'm getting too technical, I'm not a technical person, means you have to click out of your MLS, go to their MLS, and then you're inside their MLS, and you have to come back to your MLS. That's a reciprocal link. That's not a data share. All right, enough data share. You're probably bored to death about that, but we need to get it fixed. That's, I guess, what I'm coming down to. We don't get it fixed, someone else will fix it. The lion coming over the hill, everything we know about Google and everybody else will come and figure it out, right? So so MLS, as you know, we're committed to continuous service. These are some most recent fixes and enhancements to your systems. Keep in mind, we are using the surge groups. Everyone knows what the surge group is? No, right? Yeah. Each of the associations that are basically owners of your MLS have a user group, a super users research group, research group that looks at all of our product developments before you get them. And they also come up with ideas for you to be able to use things like the tools you're seeing in these enhancements right here. So you have a voice as to what happens to your system, and your system is constantly changing. Why is your system constantly changing? Everyone gets used to where the cheese is, right? And then we move the cheese. You go, why'd you do that? Well, it's because we're trying to figure out the best possible way to serve your needs, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. So that's the hard part. But some of the things that came up recently, who's using HomeSnap? HomeSnap? Does anybody know what HomeSnap is? Okay, well, thanks, there's one. HomeSnap is a free member benefit when you're a subscriber to the MLS that enables you to take your mobile device. Who has a mobile device? And be able to engage your clients through your mobile device with a branded app, basically, on you. And it gives you great information. We have what's called the Pro version, which gives you great information. You can stand in front of a house, take a picture of the house, and it will give you the data on that property right in your hand. So if one of your clients says, hey, I'm looking at 123 Oak Street, if they have your app, they can take that picture. And you could give them a CMA instantly from your phone, instantly. It also gives you information about, if say for example, it's listed, it gives you information about the agent that's listing that home. It tells you how many homes they've sold in the last 24 months. It tells you their list price to sales price ratio. It tells you where all their 24 sales are. Maybe they're an out of area agent that's only sold one home in this neighborhood or no homes in that neighborhood. You get the information like that on every property in Santa Clara County and every property you work on. Yes, ma'am. You can brand it to your clients, correct? They don't have the Pro version, they have your version. This is data you have. Here's the other cool thing. You can walk the property with your phone, it'll show you the property boundaries where you're at. So if you have a property with acreage or a property with an unusual lot, you can walk around and it'll show you the lot as you walk around. So anyway, it's free.
For the Pro? How much with the Pro?
For you, free.
Pro also?
Yeah, it's included in your membership. You just have to download the app and put your MLS ID into it. And if you wanted to, we could take 1 minute and do it all together. No? Okay, too much. It's a lot to ask. You go to the App Store, pull up HomeSnap, and it will give you It'll ask for your MLS ID, it'll ask for your MLS you belong to, and there it's instantly loaded on your phone. Then you have to be able to load your database into yours. So you go online on your regular computer and do a CSV file, bring it in. Every one of your clients gets invited. It's a great tool. What else do we have here? You guys can read this. I don't need to go through all these. Okay. Great stuff. But anyway, the search groups are the ones that are doing all this. Here's the super user and review groups. It's made up of brokers and agents in every association. They meet monthly to apprise MLS listings of user preferences and to vet feature and product updates, as well as the status of repairs. You know, the status of our repairs is an interesting thing. For those of us who've been around a really long time, fixing things in the MLS used to take forever. You know, we have a bug, it would take months and months and months to get it fixed. And a lot of that has to do with the vendor relationship we have with our matrix system. You know, you get like an order ticket and it gets put back to work in line, and then you get to finally get to your stuff. But we do something called agile management now, where we do sprints, where we take a problem and we fix it in 2 weeks. It focuses on that product to fix it and get it done and get it out to you quickly. So you're seeing things enhanced quicker and faster and better because why? Because we love you. So all of these user groups meet monthly. They have leaders, one person in each of them that meets quarterly, and that reports to the board of directors, and we get an update of everything that's going on. The customer support issues and subscriber data via feedback channels. We have these new feedback channels where you too can be a part of the user group from wherever you sit. So if you look at these listings, you know, these links here, and I don't know how we get these links out to everybody. Myra, are those on the front page of the access?
Also in the newsletters that we send out, and people can always just contact us and say we want to do feedback.
Who reads the newsletters?
No,
Yeah.
actually,
30%. Oh, we're not trying hard enough. We need 40%. Anyway, but here's the chance for you if you've got a great idea for a platform improvement, or you've got a great idea for the matrix improvements. Here's your chance to give us feedback and let us work on these things. So I highly encourage you, because we all like to bitch about the MLS, right? Yeah, I hear it all the time, but nobody wants to do anything about it. So until you do something about it, it just keeps getting wrong and wrong and wrong. We want to fix it, make it right for you, everything you like. If you want free MLS, that ain't gonna happen. Oh, here's a good one. New days on market calculations. And I'm getting the hook here. I see Tricia walking up. So now, remember when you put your listing in and you went in contract, the days on market calculator kept going. Falls out of escrow, what happens? Your 3-day sale turns into 29 days on the market. Well, it no longer does that. It stops when you go into withdrawn pending or contingent status. It freezes the days on market. So now it actually reflects the actual days that your property has been marketed, as opposed to in escrow. So that's really good, right? So we didn't just dream this up. Someone thought of this. Pretty good thing. Actually, I thought of this now. The other new product that we have is the New Homes Navigator. We're the first MLS in California to offer this. This is like an MLS system for new homes, for new construction, and you have access to that through your MLS as well. So you can go and look for homes, for new homes for your clients, just like you can for your your pre-builds. Is that good? Is it worth anything to you?
That's a good product and it looks good online.
That looks great online. So these are all the things that you're seeing that we're trying to do to help enhance your experience with our MLS, your MLS, and trying to make it and continue to keep it the premium MLS, not only in our area, but in the country. So, oh, Theo, gosh, there's so much stuff we're doing. Who knows about Theo? Theo is a product that is used for open home tours. So when you're on tour, like if you go to Dave's group on Wednesday mornings, you can enter your listings that you want to see in Theo on your phone, and it'll route it for you. It'll give you showing instructions for them. You have access instructions, everything on your phone.
That's an app called Theo?
Theo.
It's an app.
Theo, yes. App, right, Myra? It's an app? My Theo. So you can make your travel around town easier for yourself. And you can move it around. Say, I don't want to see this house first. I want to see this house last. You can do anything you want with the touch of your finger. So another cool thing, all for free. No, well, it's included. Oh, thank you. Any questions? I've 18 minutes for questions. No? Seconds. No, not one question? Seriously? Okay. Oh, we have a question.
say since November, are they entitled for days on market to be changed if they were off the market during a certain period of time? Since when started this new feature?
I don't know. I really don't. I know that we,
Active listings.
I don't think you can go back in time and do it. You know, I believe that you can, from when it started, and I don't know when it started exactly. Myra, do you have the date when we started the new DOM?
I will give her a card. I couldn't
Okay.
tell you.
So Myra's gonna get back to you on that. I just don't have the answer. I know that, you know, we all can't go back 190 days and say our property was in escrow for first 3 days, and it's a 4-day on market product now, so I know that. Okay, that's it. Oh, one more question. Yeah, one more. It's hard to get the mic away, you know. Watch out. Go ahead.
On new homes, since you mentioned about that, how do we include the best way to include it in your statistics? Because you represent by new home, it doesn't go in, it's done in MLS or whatever, it doesn't show the stat. What's the best way to handle that?
That's a great question. Myra, give him your card.
That's a call out.
So, you know, the MLS listings has training here every month too, and those kinds of things probably come up, but that question can be dealt with through customer service. I'm sure there's a way that sale gets recorded for you. Now that we're using the MLS for new homes, that means they're listed as an active listing, and then we'll report it as a sale. So it'll probably start accumulating now. So. Did you have a last question? Go ahead.
One last question.
In your area of commercial real estate, how are you feeling, inputting commercial real estate in the system? It's a little bit slow. I see some changes.
Yeah, you know, and commercial is an area that we're actually looking at dramatically to try to change the way commercial real estate is shown, you know, because there is no real MLS other than your loop nets and things like that where you get to go pay a bunch of money every month. But we're actually trying to figure out how we can charge you that kind of money every month to put them into our MLS. It's a good profit center, right? It's like $400 a month. So, but until we, you know, we're still working on that area. That's an area of development. Our focus is still on just on the residential side, but you do have the opportunity in the different categories to put it in. It's just people in the commercial space aren't members. They don't go looking in our space. So, okay. Well, thanks for letting me talk for a minute. Thank you.
Thank you, Quincy. And for everyone else that have questions, please feel free to approach Quincy and Myra in the back if you can wave your hand. So everyone is, so the woman that was passing out her cards throughout, that's Myra, who's definitely able to help answer any other MLS questions. So after the meeting, feel free to reach out to them. And up next, we'd like to thank our featured sponsors, Alexandria Cavaleras from Slater, Hersey, and Lieberman, attorneys at law. If you can come up for a few moments.
Hi, I'm a lawyer. Sorry. I am not Anthony Ventura. I work with him. Many of you probably have met him or heard him speak before. We're located right in downtown San Jose, 160 West Santa Clara. We like to work pretty frequently with SCCAOR in two ways. The more pleasant way is to come and educate. If you're a broker, or have a group of realtors that are interested in a particular legal issue, have questions, we like to come do legal updates. We don't charge anything, and it kind of can help to prevent, through education, issues coming up. The other way we can be of assistance is if an issue does come up. You have a question, a client has a question regarding a transaction, a form, anything like that. Non-disclosure, under disclosure, we litigate. We, when there's unfortunately a BRE complaint, we can represent you. So any of those issues that come up, feel free to give us a call. Anthony, Sarah, and myself, we are all in the real estate practice group. Our cards and flyers are outside on your way out. So we'd like to be of assistance to you. So please give us a call if anything comes up.
Great, thank you. Definitely testify for Alexandria and Sarah and Anthony. They're absolutely fabulous. I've reached out to them in the past, so I highly recommend them. Great group. Also, I'd like to bring up Craig Stennett of Bank of America.
I was checking out my my mobile device that I bought after Quincy told me to go get one. Probably the biggest news today, guys, 160 on the 10-year treasury. So I'll talk a little bit about the bank, but significance is fixed rates are about 0.5% lower than they were November, December of last year.
If you could speak into the mic.
Oh, sorry. So significant improvement in interest rates, and I think that's great. That's big news for today. A huge move on the Treasury. Banks pegged it at when their pricing fixed and arms. So affordability for our customers, all of ours, increasing, and hopefully we'll see that trend continue. This is supposed to be the year when rates went bananas, right? Up all year long. Seeing the exact opposite, in fact, significantly. Can you put it up? No, is that better? Okay, so anyways, good news on rates, and that's gonna help us all for the year, I'm sure. I just wanted to say a couple things. So partnership and pre-qual is what I'd like to talk to you about real quick today. The bank, I run one of 5 offices in Santa Clara County. We did about $3.5 billion in overall fundings or credit extension last year, just in first mortgage alone. About $1.5 billion of that was purchase. So we're very, very engaged in this market and extending credit in this market. So when you look at the footprint of Santa Clara County, we have about 80 financial centers. That's what we call a banking center, traditional branch. We have about 1.5 million visits of customers that actually walk in there seeking product or seeking service from Bank of America every single month. So in that footprint of branches, we have 1 to 2 loan officers in every single one of those that are interfacing with customers all day long. They're asking for pre-qualifications, many of whom do not have representation with a realtor. Okay, so our goal is to take those very heavy focus on purchase this year for Bank of America, but convert those into pre-qualifications. And then for those customers that don't have representation, reach out to the real estate community and offer referrals. Okay, so look for Bank of America out in the market. There's probably 120. I'm with Susan and Chris here from my team. About 120 loan officers, I think, in Santa Clara County. All of them are running into these customers all day, every day. So partnering with the banks, our institution, and the other large institutions will be a good strategy for everybody to pursue this year. I also just want to mention really quick pre-qualification. Is it a little competitive in Santa Clara County right now? Okay, so don't send your customers out there without, there's 2 different types of pre-qualifications you can get. And before you really get serious about shopping or representing a client, make sure that they have a pre-qual, okay? You can either do an automated pre-qual where a customer comes in and they just give us information. We plug that into an automated tool, a Fannie and Freddie type engine, and it says, yep, this person qualifies, okay? That's, and we can issue a pre-qual letter to you. You can take that out while you're shopping. Bank does a higher level approval called a buyer ready, and that's where we actually take a complete application from the customer. All assets are vetted, all income is vetted. You have letters of explanation that come up with credit reports. Those are all vetted and approved. So when that customer receives an approval for 60 days, the only condition we can fire once they go into contract is an appraisal and a prelim condition, right? So that customer is a very well vetted pre-approval that you can go out and you can get competitive. You can write the shorter close. You can maybe write the non-contingent offer, though we don't recommend it. But you can do that type of stuff. That type of approval is available. Not all institutions are doing that right now. So ask your Bank of America associates for the buyer ready. That's what I have for today. Thank you very much.
And
Okay.
Craig, we'd like to give you a big thank you and certificate of appreciation for your corporate sponsorship last year and also stepping up for this year. So we'd like to congratulate you and thank you so much.
Thank you.
So next we have our chairperson for the foundation, Bonnie Wilson, who will be presenting an update on the foundation for us.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you all. I'm sure all of you know about our foundation. The Santa Clara County Realtors Foundation is actually the charitable arm of SCCAOR. And we are tasked with raising funds and then giving it out to the needy, those disadvantaged, those homeless in our communities. The foundation this year was able to give out over 15 grants to very, very worthwhile organizations. We have provided warm blankets, sleeping bags, youth leadership, backpacks, school supplies to hundreds of children. We have clothed over 30 newborn children that lived 200% below the poverty line and had no clothes. We have made your donations for toys and pajamas at Christmas has made many, many children very happy. We've given scholarships to science camps, to orchestras, to youth organizations, to field trips. We have funded math classes for those children to keep them on target and in school. We have supplied families with their own vegetable gardens and provided food and donations to organizations that help our seniors. Rob, is Rob here?
Right here.
You wanna click my I have a slide for you guys. This should have been running first, so we may eliminate it. Rob, why don't you stand right here? Along with everything else, we've had $1 million challenge, and we have supplied two very worthy organizations, Family Supportive Housing and Stand Up for Kids, with grants this year through our $1 million challenge. So it is my pleasure to ask Gustavo to come up. And I'd like to have him receive the check on behalf of Michelle Hunsinger, Executive Officer of Stand Up for Kids. I'd like to make a couple of comments about the Stand Up for Kids organization. It is 100% volunteer. They all have jobs working in industry, but they donate their time to go out in the evening to find and locate our homeless teenagers, bring them into their center so they can wash clothes, take showers, have help doing homework, writing resumes, and working with them to bring them forward so that they are becoming part of the mainstream. It's a very worthwhile organization. Hey, Rob, can you change it to that one? I have a check. We have a big grant check to present to Stand Up for Kids for $9,000.
This is your money, everybody. This is your money for those children that are homeless out in the streets here in Silicon Valley. Believe it or not, we have about 1,600 of them. So thank you for your support, and we will be asking you to support again this year. So thank you.
Okay, I'd also like to take a time and say that what we are doing here, and one of the things that we do so well in our valley here, is we like to have fun. So some of the things that our realtors have done and our foundation has done has been to help parks, to do chili cook-offs, to have fun at our golf tournaments, and all of that, those monies that we have collected have come together and go back out to the community. So I'd like to thank you for that. At this time, I'd like to ask our members of the foundation, our directors, to stand up and be acknowledged for the hard work that they've done. Thank you. And to be very honest, none of this, absolutely none of this would be possible without your generous support. We have up on the board the people that have last year contributed in our platinum, gold, and silver, bronze, and supporters, our golf tee sponsors, corporate sponsors, and in-kind sponsors. We've had a lot of people that have generously donated. It does not include donors to the chili cook-off, the pumpkin auction, and raffle prize, and donors at the golf tournament. Next year, we're going to be tracking all of our donors, so we'll be able to tell you how many more people are contributing. It does also not include the membership when you sign up for your membership at the board and you donate your $30. So right now, in front of you is an envelope, and in that envelope is a request to pledge money, to donate, to give, to open up your hearts, sign up, and contribute to the Santa Clara County Realtors Foundation. We're unique, we're out there, we're public. I'd like you to all consider filling that card in and turning it in to any one of us that are on the foundation so that we can make sure that this money is credited to the good work that we do. I want to thank all of you for your support and your continuing support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bonnie, and I have to say, it's been amazing to see what the work of the foundation has been doing. If you were just to sit in one of those meetings, the amount of passionate people, the full table, everyone giving back, it's really inspiring to see what they do on a day-to-day basis. So up next, we'd like to introduce Vince Rocha, our Government Affairs Director of SCORE. I'd like to give you guys a little local issues update on what's happening in the area. Go ahead, Vince.
Thank you all. So I talk to a lot of realtors, and they say, I vote. Hopefully, many of you are all registered to vote, but they say, but government affairs is not really a part of my business, and I, part of my role here is letting you know that in a lot of ways it is your business. If you invest in yourself, you contribute to charities like the Realtor Foundation. I'd also ask you to contribute a little bit and be a part of the Realtor Action Fund, and part of our calls to action, because these are investments in your business, your ability to do real estate. And as Dave was alluding to earlier, the real estate industry is changing, but it doesn't have to be a bad change. It can be a change that involves realtors at the center of the transaction. And otherwise, if we're not involved, this industry could change in a way that does not benefit you in the future. So I'm going to get a little bit into that. So one of the issues we're talking about here is, we have a lot of housing issues in Santa Clara County. I think the mayor alluded to that with homelessness. But really, what we're suffering from is a housing shortage. You get front page headlines: Apple's building a new campus, Google's expanding, LinkedIn's expanding. I don't see a lot of front page headlines about a lot of new housing. So, we're having a shortage, and that creates longer commutes. I dread the 101. Potential loss of economic growth. If people can't live here, those jobs cannot continue to grow. And then you have, housing costs rising for unsubsidized renters or buyers. So, the middle class, you have a hollowing out of your middle class buyer. How many of you have clients that say, here's how much I can afford, which traditionally might be that, middle class home, that today they're just out of the market. So one of the issues that is affecting apartment owners in San Jose, but also in Mountain View, in Oakland, in Fremont, it's come up in San Leandro. If you own even a single family home for rental, there's a potential that in the future your property can be under rent control. Well, why would you say that? Well, because the city of San Jose at a meeting that I was at said, we're going to direct our state lobbyists to overturn Costa-Hawkins so that we can enact rent control on single family homes. It was like a 7-3 vote or 7-4 vote. It was, majority of the council decided they want to overturn Costa-Hawkins. That protects your single family homes from things like rent control. So while many of you may not own a 3 or 4-plex built before 1979, you may own at some point a rental property in the state of California, not just San Jose. So this is bigger than San Jose. And so that's why I kind of want to get you guys a little involved on rent control. According to the nonpartisan legislative analysts, rent control and other policies to make housing more affordable actually doesn't do very much to help with the real underlying problem, which is housing supply. So a lot of these policies actually hurt both tenants and landlords, and don't really solve any of the problems we have here. So specifically in San Jose, we need your help. The mayor was here, and Roberta did a great job of just exemplifying that it's going to put a lot of property owners out of business. But without and that's really going to create a lot of problems if you want to even in the future buy property here in San Jose. And so I'll give you a little example about what you can do. What we're doing is we're starting a petition, and it's at score.com/rent control. You can do it on your mobile device. I don't know if you have an iPad. I saw a couple of laptops, a couple of phones. And here I'm going to show you. Is that up there? Okay. Yep. So I've already done the petition, so I'm gonna put my colleague in here, Roman, score.com, and then next, so then you confirm your information. And after you confirm your information, you can, It asks for a lot of information, but it's just so your city council members know where they're coming from. And then here you can, we already actually have it pre-filled. If you don't have anything to write, I would suggest going with that. And if you do have something to write, you can completely edit that. So that's how you would go and just fill out this little form. And basically we have a little sample letter here as well. SCORE has also written a letter to the San Jose City Council. You can see SCORE's letter on this issue. We'll be writing another letter to the council this month on this issue. It's going to come up in probably April. So, you know, just cause eviction, rent control, these things affect you if you own or plan on owning property, not just in San Jose, but California. All the Bay Area, all over California, we're seeing this issue pop up. It's going to impact you greatly. And
Get this on the school website.
yes, but score.com/rent control is the shorthand right here. So that's the kind of where the information is, and we'll be updating that part of the website more soon, and you'll be actually seeing a red alert from us soon as well. So honestly, it doesn't, it just distracts from the main issue about creating housing here in Silicon Valley and takes away from the fact that, you know, a lot of property owners are managing their properties well, but can't do it if they're going to be asked to only go to a 1 or 2% increase every year. And that's what we're facing. We're not being able to have a resident, basically forcing you to give a resident an extension of their lease. And that's what just cause eviction would do. When a lease is up, you'd be required to give them a new lease. Unless for some reason you got a police report and went before court and said they're doing something illegal. That's essentially what just cause eviction does. It requires you to give your tenants a new lease. So it's very harmful to private property. Well, what are we doing that's successful? I don't want to be a downer just about rent control. We stopped a point of sale here in the Bay Area that would have cost the average homeowner $2,750. We required a fireplace retrofit at the point of sale. Also, we found that it probably would have delayed the transaction anywhere between a few weeks to a few months. So imagine you're trying to close, and you're like, okay, well, before I close, I got to replace this wood burning fireplace with a gas fireplace. Okay, I got to get a contractor, and then I got to get inspected by the city. How long does that take? Just to sell your home, right? So we said, no, this doesn't make any sense for homeowners. And we stopped that. And thanks to you and thanks to a lot of our members who are very active. And I want you to be a part of that. So when I say go on the rent control thing, it's not just that. We need to be active on a lot of things, and you'll hear from us. We stopped Congress from implementing fees on new mortgages. That saved the average California home buyer with the new mortgage $8,000 for the life of their mortgage. So we're doing some really good things for property owners, not just our business, but for your clients. And that's important to what advocacy is here at SCORE. Now, what else is coming up? More taxes. I think Dave Walsh talked a lot about tax reform at the federal level, but what does that mean to you? Well, here's some local tax reform, not reform, just taxes, that would mean a lot to you. Gross receipts tax. They're looking at doing gross tax on commercial and residential landlord revenues. They're also looking at taxing gross receipts for your business. So for every $1 million, I think you spend your business in gross receipts, not profits, by the way. You could actually be at a loss for the year and still owe more in taxes if this passes than you do today. So that's the issue. So $1.20 for every $1,000 in revenue. So what does that equal? Well, right now the city of San Jose gets about $11.9 million from its business license taxing system. Under the new system, they get about $80 million. That's right out of your pocketbook. So if you're paying anywhere between $150 to $1,000 in business license tax for you, your employees, you'll probably be spending $6,000. So it could really impact you, especially you're running a small business. VTA sales tax. They're looking to bring BART further here into San Jose. That's going to be a 1/2 cent sales tax. San Jose general tax, the mayor talked about. That's a 1/4 cent sales tax. There's a Bay Area restoration and parcel tax, be $12 a parcel in all 9 counties in the Bay Area. So when we look at the tax picture here, the economy's doing well. So taxes actually poll well better when people feel like they're employed and they can contribute. But the SCORE hasn't taken a position yet on these issues. But you need to know these are the kinds of issues that we're always watching. We're always looking at. and that really we're out to protect your business, your ability to conduct business, and your ability to protect your clients as well and their investments. So how can I contribute? Dave Walsh hinted out that, $20 here is the minimum. Of course, we do accept more money. You can go to SCCAOR.com/RAF, or I think I have a couple of flyers out here, or give me right there. Neil Collins over here has some flyers you could fill out today and leave them with us, fill out your credit card. And really $20 is really a great investment for your business. If you invest in your business, by buying new software, getting good employees, all that, this is part of that investment. This will make sure the future of real estate, the future of your business for you and your clients is viable. And I want to thank you to our 2015 RAF donors, who will slowly be coming up the slide. This is 2007 PowerPoint, so it's not smooth. But thank you to our RAF contributors. Yeah.
Remember at one time they were talking about taxing like title fees and inspection reports and all that. Is that still on the table?
Not at the local level right now.
What at the state level?
Repeat the question.
I think he's referencing the $225 that was the bill that the head of the legislature tried to put forth.
Oh yeah, so to your point, actually, SCCAOR has both supported and opposed reporting fees in the past. But right now, the short answer is there is no new fees or taxes on reporting documents that is past either chamber of the state legislature. And it doesn't look like something's going to happen on that this year. That could come back next year. Okay.
Put that slide again with the tax.
Yes. So, yeah, actually, and also there's a ton of print on this too. If you go right now to Google gross receipts tax, I think the Business Journal and the Mercury News are both covering it pretty extensively here. And this is very real. They're gathering signatures for this ballot measure now. And this could impact not just small business realtors, it can impact large business. You might see major employers leave the city. This could cost them millions and millions of dollars on their bottom line. This is not small for them. Probably, most real estate brokerages as well, it'll cost them. But you're also going to see just, a lot of your clients who maybe work at these large companies, if their companies leave, they're not going to have the money to continue to be your clients. So, the point being is this affects all of us, not just, our business, but again, we do advocate for what's best for both you and your clients.
So be careful when you're at the grocery store and you're getting approached with that person with the clipboard. Make sure you understand what you're signing. They need, 25,000 signatures, I think?
Yeah, so,
signatures.
yeah, and they usually overshoot to make sure that they're good signatures, because sometimes they get unregistered voters or something signed, or unregistered people to sign. They need like 25,000 registered voters. And these groups, they have the ability to do that, and so like Neil said, when you see those clipboards, don't just sign it and say, yeah, I'm for more services. Like, you want your roads fixed? They're like, of course I want my roads fixed. I'll sign that. What is that? But the point is how we do it matters just as much as doing it. So I want to thank you all. Yes, Roberta.
So just cause eviction's a real threat to all of us. 1 out of every 3 rentals one out of every 3 housing units in San Jose is a rental. And the San Jose City Council is considering just cause eviction on all rentals. And what that means is someone needs to be, what the attorney says, who does these evictions, says in San Francisco that has just cause eviction, 1, you either have to murder someone or not pay your rent to get evicted. 5 of the 10 most dangerous cities in the Bay Area have just cause eviction. So I have a request. I'm fighting this actively, as you can probably tell. I've put together a spreadsheet for you to fill out. If you want to fill this out and get it back to me, I can send it to you via email. I'd really like your help in fighting this. So just get me your card afterwards. Thank you.
And next, I think we have closing remarks from our CEO, Neil Collins.
So thank you very much. And we do have those forms going around. If you raise your hand, I do have some of my staff, so just, you can keep your, don't worry about interrupting, keep your hand raised, they'll come over to you. We can just staple a business card. If you have a $20 bill, that's fine, quick and simple. If you want to pay with your credit card, you can fill that in as well. Just give me one moment to fill this slide. We're gonna make sure those slides get out to you, and we are also recording everything today, but we'll probably do a standalone update video and get that out to you in the next week or so. Vince put together some great information here for us. So I get to do some fun stuff once we close down some windows here. So I want to first off thank everyone for paying their dues. I assume you all paid your dues. It's one of the things that we don't enjoy so much to ask you to do, but it does keep the association running. And each year we run a contest and we award an individual who pays their dues on time. We have an auction or I'm sorry, a raffle, and we pick the winner. And this year we have Tina Welch has won free dues for SCCAOR, free dues at the state level, free dues at the national level. Tina unfortunately has had a family matter that she had to attend to. So Dave Walsh is her broker. So I'm going to ask Dave to come on up and if you can accept this check on her behalf. And those of you who see Tina, congratulate her because this is a pretty big deal.
And I'll make sure she gets everything.
Are you going to wire that to her? All right. We got a couple of quick announcements. We know we all do our Friday sales in the store. If you want to purchase today, you get the same deal as Friday. We have an event coming up that's going to benefit the foundation. SCCAOR, which is located on Camden. They're doing a poker night on the 26th at 5:30. You're welcome to attend there, and a part of the benefits are going for the foundation. We really appreciate them listing us on there. We also have a fraud symposium on March 24th. We're going to have the district attorney here, Jeff Rosen. We have some flyers out there. I believe they're bright red, so you can't miss them. And I just really want to thank you all for coming here. It was a great meeting, and we really appreciate your time, and we appreciate your support here at SCCAOR. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.